on juggling multiple projects at once, or do you prefer to give your full focus to one project at a time? Believe it or not, answering this question can make a huge difference in how you manage your workload and avoid overwhelm. In this video, we're diving into the key differences between two basic project management approaches, and we'll explore how knowing your preference can help you set up project management systems that truly work for you. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Katie Linder, a certified project manager, change manager, and coach, working full-time in higher education, leading and supporting teams. On this channel, I offer real-world examples of how project management translates into the higher ed environment. If you're looking for ways to use project management tools and skills, both professionally and personally, to bring more ease to your work and life, you're in the right place. Now let's dive into two fundamental types of project management preferences: poly-project and mono-project approaches. These terms describe how people prefer to manage multiple tasks and projects, and recognizing your preference can significantly impact how you approach your work. The poly-project approach describes managing multiple projects simultaneously, where variety and adaptability take center stage. In contrast, the mono-project approach involves focusing deeply on one project at a time. This approach prioritizes dedicated attention and ensures thoroughness and quality. Why does this distinction matter? Well, many people unknowingly work against their natural project preference, leading to stress or burnout. By identifying your style, you can create a work system that plays to your strengths and reduces frustration. Let's take a look at each approach in more detail, and I'll give you some tips and strategies for figuring out what your preference might be and how that could impact your project management systems. If you're someone who thrives on variety and enjoys juggling multiple projects at once, you might identify more with being a poly-projects person. Some of the characteristics of poly-project people are that they prefer to work on several projects at once. They thrive on switching between tasks, they adapt easily to new challenges, and they often feel energized by managing multiple collaborators and projects at the same time. If this is you, your strengths might include being skilled at multitasking and juggling various deadlines, having the ability to switch between different types of work, such as creative, administrative, and strategic, and that you can leverage insights from one project to inform others, increasing your overall efficiency. However, you might also face the challenges of spreading yourself thin if too many projects overlap or you don't have proper systems in place. You might also have more potential for feeling overwhelmed if too many competing priorities exist without a clear structure for how to choose between them. If the poly-project description isn't quite resonating for you, and you prefer to deep dive into one project at a time and give it your full focus, that could mean that you fall more into the mono-projects category. Some of the characteristics of mono-project people are that they prefer to focus deeply on one project at a time. They struggle to shift attention between tasks. They may also feel the transition between projects is inefficient, and they usually experience greater satisfaction from seeing one project through to completion before starting another. If this is you, your strengths might include deep focus and the ability to produce high-quality work with minimal distractions. You also may tend to feel more in control of a project when you dedicate all your attention to it. Typically, you also will have high attention to detail and clarity in execution. However, you might also face the challenges of managing multiple projects if needed. For example, if deadlines or resources are constrained, which forces you to juggle multiple projects at once. You might also feel overwhelmed when forced to multitask or deal with too many competing demands. Understanding which project style you lean toward is so important because it directly influences how you plan, prioritize, and organize your work. If you prefer one or the other, it doesn't mean you can't operate another way, but it could help you optimize your approach and influence how you set up schedules, choose tools, and collaborate with others. Working against your natural preference can also cause stress and decrease productivity, so understanding this preference helps to set more realistic goals and timelines that align with your strengths. Everyone's project management style is unique, and tailoring your workflow to your preferences both enhances efficiency and reduces burnout. So how do you figure out whether you're a poly-project or mono-project person? Let's take a look at some questions you can ask yourself to get a better sense of your own style. First, how do you feel when you have several projects to manage? Are you energized by switching between tasks, or does it feel overwhelming? Next, do you enjoy the process of completing one project before moving to another, or do you get bored and crave variety? And lastly, how do you feel when you're asked to take on multiple projects simultaneously? You can also reflect on the current projects on your plate. Are you naturally handling them all at once, or do you prefer focusing on one at a time? This self-awareness is the first step in building a customized project management system that you'll enjoy working in. Now that you know your project preference, let's discuss how to apply this insight to build a system that enhances your productivity and fits your unique way of working. If you like to work on multiple projects at once, you might use project management tools like Asana, Trello, or Monday.com to track and manage all of your projects with their deadlines and priorities. You could also consider creating a dashboard or a system that allows for easy switching between tasks and tracking of multiple projects. And lastly, you'll want to set boundaries for when to switch tasks, ensuring that you get some mental and physical space between projects. If you like to work on one project at a time, you might schedule blocks of time so that you can have a singular focus on one project without distractions. You could also minimize switching between tasks or focus areas by using task batching techniques to keep related work together. Lastly, if multiple projects need attention, you could set clear, distinct phases for each. For example, Project A in the morning and Project B in the afternoon, which might help to give you the focus that you crave. Now, you might be saying that your preference for mono-project or poly-project approaches shifts depending on the situation, project type, or workload. If you feel like you're a mix of both, you're not alone. If you toggle between the two approaches, you'll tend to adapt your approach based on the demands of a project. You might prefer mono-project focus for high-stakes or complex tasks, but switch to poly-project management for routine or overlapping deadlines. And you might thrive in environments where flexibility is valued and supported. If you can switch back and forth, your strengths will include the ability to adjust to different team dynamics, project scopes, and timelines. However, you might struggle with decision fatigue when choosing which approach to use, or you might feel like you don't have clear strategies for switching between styles. Now that you know the difference between a poly-project approach and a mono-project approach, think about how your current project load aligns with your natural preferences. Are you overwhelming yourself by forcing too many simultaneous projects? Or perhaps you're holding back from managing multiple projects at once when you could be doing more. Understanding your project style helps you build a schedule, structure, and systems that work for you so that you can focus on what truly matters most without burning out. If this video helped you gain some clarity, make sure to leave a comment below sharing your project style preference, and then subscribe to the channel for more project management tips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.